Okay, so part two. Since if you guys don't have internet, why should my devices work? Okay, what was I saying? Something about managers. A manager is an employee. You do not own the company. You are not the CEO. You have no autonomy whatsoever other than to exert some power over a few other people that have to clock in under your supervision. But you are still a clock in, clock out employee. And so that's part of the point Kozel's trying to make here is that what we have decided for these students is that the highest role they can possibly fill is one of menial authority, but ultimately you're still just you have a boss. And so here is the point I think I'd like to make to talk about this idea. We are going to need people to wash our dishes, or at least in the current economic system that we have. We need people to wash dishes. We need people to drive buses. We need people to mow lawns. We need people to do our taxes. We need people to settle our legal disputes. We need people to keep our houses from burning down, right? We need everybody to fill a role because these are all the roles that we've decided that we have in our society. The critique that we're making here and what I'd like you to think about as a future educator is that it is not the school's job to decide for the students. By virtue of the kind of education we provide, depending on your socioeconomic status, we are essentially deciding for you. Right? So if you go to a school that has all the money in the world, you might get to take like a fashion design class or something like that. But if you go to the schools in the poorest neighborhoods, those upper level classes, those interesting electives, they don't exist. We've determined for you already the options you have. So that is our critique. And it's the mission in front of you as a future teacher that you provide some form of education that keeps all doors open, that you do not determine for students what their future is going to be. It's not up to you. Your job as a teacher is to let them decide what they want their future to be and help them get there. That's what we're doing. That's what we're supposed to be doing as educators. And it's the mission I put in front of you headed out and onto the job. Here's an interesting point. Two interesting points. San Antonio versus Rodriguez, 1973, a court case. The Supreme Court declared that school is not a fundamental right. And in 2000 in California, under the Governor Terminator's administration, the state was sued to have to provide a certain level of education to students. What I'd like you to think about is that high quality education is not an enumerated right anywhere in your Constitution. And it has been declared by the courts to not exactly be a guaranteed human right. The Human Rights Convention listed education as a universal human right, but we never signed that document in the United States. And so what I want you to think about, one of the great dilemmas of our time is how to get a better education for our students. I need you to know that legally speaking, it is not something that we are required to give. A good education is not something we're required to give. An education of some kind is the only thing any state is required to provide its citizens. So there is really no accountability system in place to make sure that it's a good education. I hate the word accountability because it eventually ends up meaning you're going to lose your job because you didn't get a kid to pass a test. But another thing I'd like you to think about as you move forward, because there's an argument in cultural studies and educational foundations, which is what this course is. People are saying our schools are broken, our schools aren't producing good students, our schools are bad, we need to fix our schools. there is a pretty good argument to be made that schools are doing precisely what they're supposed to be doing. Our public education system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is to make sure that some people get to own everything and the rest of the people have just enough skills to work for them. That is an argument that holds some water when we look at the way we school children. Now, do we want to do better? Yes. What this class is not to terrify you and have you change your major. This class is to implore you, the next generation of teaching professionals, to do better, to provide something more meaningful than just a set of work skills for your future employees. To provide an education that has meaning for people and lets them choose where they want to head and gives them the tools to get there once they've made that choice. That is the point of this class. The system is not going to get you there. I think that's the main takeaway. The school structure itself isn't going to do the work for you. It's up to us as the people, as the agents within the building, to do the work. Because the system's not going anywhere and it's not made to benefit any of us, but it's the one we have. And navigating it is your job. It is the greatest priority that we have. And it's a good job to have. Let me say that as our final thought for this class. Teaching is a good job to have. It's hard. It's exhausting. It's defeating some days, but it's a good job. And I hope you follow through with it. I hope you get it. I hope you stick with it. Because it's a gift. Okay. Be safe. Reach out if you can and need to and need an extension. I don't know what the deal is in terms of getting final grades submitted, but all of that takes no priority over your safety. So please protect yourself out there in that weather, and I will be in touch. Thanks. Good luck with your program, with the rest of your program. I enjoyed having everybody in the discussions, and sad I didn't get to meet you all face to face, but it was been a quick but fun 8 weeks. All right, bye-bye.